Good afternoon. This is the Board of County Commissioners meeting. It is Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. It is 2:01 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. I'm Carolina Mejia. I'm the chair of the board. To my right is Vice Chair Ty Menser. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. Also in the boardroom, we have Clerk of the Board Jamie Caldwell, County Manager Ramiro Chavez. We'll start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Vice Chair Menser.
Okay, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, Vice Chair Menser, would you like to do a land acknowledgement, sir?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. We'd also like to start today's meeting with the land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Indigenous Salish peoples whose elders and ancestors have lived on and cared for the land and waterways of this county since time immemorial, and who still inhabit the area today, specifically the Squaxin Island, Nisqually, and Chehalis people, our sovereign tribal partners. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. The purpose of this acknowledgement is to disrupt ongoing erasures of injustices done and to remember history as a stepping stone towards healing.
Thank you. Next is the approval of the Tuesday, March 14th, 2023 agenda. Is there a motion?
Move to approve proposed agenda for Tuesday, March 14th, 2023.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. The agenda is approved. Next is an opportunity for the public to address the board. The Board of Thurston County Commissioners welcomes comments from the public. However, there are some guidelines governing such comments to ensure they are appropriate and do not take advantage of the fact that most meetings are televised. The general speaking guidelines are as follows. Please introduce yourself, including the address you reside in the county. Please address the board, not the audience or staff. Please silence your cell phones for those members in the boardroom. Speakers are limited to a total of 4 minutes to address the board. Meeting attendees cannot donate their speaking time to another person. No comments that are lewd and offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. Please be respectful. No outbursts of any kind. No comments that are commercial in nature, such as promotion of a for-profit business. All materials provided to the county may be considered public records, subject to public release upon request pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 4256 of the RCW, and no remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could eventually come before the board on appeal. Thank you for your cooperation. I'll start with members in the boardroom, and then after that, we will go to Zoom. I only have one person signed up. It's John Pettit.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Pettit. I have to check to make sure the mic's on because last time management here decided to leave my mic off until, after I was over. Okay, it's green, it suggests it's on. I wrote a small little comment in regarding that when management should decide that they're going to choose who to listen to or who not to listen to, you need to change the management. What occurred last week that I made public testimony was I came up, started public testimony. I'm usually first up here. And within about a minute, one of your people came here and they sat there waiting. I had 3 more minutes of testimony that I made. What I didn't know as I reviewed the video at home was you can't virtually even hear the voice coming through without the mic. So therefore, it was a nice way to censor my public comment because anybody else, if your mic was not working properly, the meeting stops until you get it corrected. That didn't happen for myself. So I guess either it's an indication you don't care about the public or what the public has to say. You don't want the public to know what's being said. It's a totally unacceptable situation, and it needs to be formally addressed, and there needs to be particular actions taken to discipline the parties involved. It was kind of an interesting, as I went through the video, and it ended up, it wasn't that anyone came from over here across to fix things. Someone came in from the other end of the building and came and sat there within a minute. It was a known factor that I was not being heard properly in the system. And I guess the answer is it doesn't appear that anyone cared. Now, the next thing I'm going to make comment about briefly is I did send in an email regarding this review committee that the state's going to have. I didn't really put everything on there, and I'm sure I'll be testifying at that because one of the things I didn't put on there is another one of the lies under the category that the county's presenting. And when the county manager signs something, they're saying it on your behalf. So in a way, you're the one lying. And in the particular, one of the things I'll address, and you can go and take a look. One of the claims to show that you're so good and everything is that within the last decade, you note in this application, that you built the public works facility out there, multiple buildings. Well, I went back and looked, and I guess you can go look on Geodata yourself. It's been more than a decade and those buildings were already up. False information. Now you want to lie to the state in order to try to get them to approve a process in order to try to avoid the protection of the citizens from having someone ransack their funds and money. Now, the last thing I'm going to address today is I think this is very serious. I'm not one that's usually taking action, but I think Arthur West might want to jump on this one. Earlier today, there was a Board of Health meeting, an agenda setting. The problem is that you didn't have a quorum. You ran a meeting without a quorum. You made decisions without a quorum. Blatantly illegal. Is this just a mockery of having a Board of Health? Because you're just allowing others to participate at the end? I'm going to just be asking you to address this issue with your Board of Health when you get started. And
sir.
I realize my time may be up and people don't like to hear, but this, you may need to cancel the meeting because it wasn't a legal meeting that you had earlier. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the boardroom that would like to provide public testimony? And then we'll move on to Zoom. I'm seeing Jesse Simmons.
Oops, sorry, no comment from me.
And then I have an observer.
I think just observing, Madam Chair.
Okay. We'll move on to county manager's update.
I don't have any follow-up, Madam Chair.
Okay. So with that, we will move on to consent items A through D. Is there a motion?
I move to approve consent items 3A through 3D.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. This is a non-debatable motion. I'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Moving on to department items. Items 4A from the auditor's office is the approval of the voucher list. And county manager?
Thank you, I'm just making notes. Thank you, Madam Chair, for your consideration. It's for you to approve the voucher list for the week of February 20th, 2023. Combined amount of $2,434,776.48. The reason as to why this particular item is not in your consent agenda is because they include some remaining expenditures related to the atrium tenant improvements within the voucher list. And that, I believe, has been the direction of the board. Any questions?
Questions? Commissioner Edwards?
No, I am not going to question this today. I've made my concerns aware. Thank you.
Commissioner Mensah?
No questions.
Okay, if there's no questions, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the voucher list for the week of February 20th, 2023 for a combined amount of $2,434,776.48.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Nay.
Commissioner Mensah? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Next item from Emergency Services, item 5A, is Child Care Action Council Services Agreement, and Ben and Bob will present this matter. Go ahead, Ben.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Ben Miller-Todd, Director of Emergency Services. Thurston County Medic One desires to help protect the safety and welfare of our children. In that same vein, we contract with the Child Care Action Council for Safe Kids Coalition activities, which include, but are not limited to, the following: ensure availability of discounted helmets to child care facilities and family medical practices, provide support technicians to check car seats, provide car seats to low-income families in Thurston County, collaborate on fire safety outreach with local fire departments, collaborate with local and medical stakeholders on infant and home safety programs, and maintain a water safety drowning prevention program. Over the course of this 3-year contract, Thurston County Medic One will provide annual compensation of $42,501 and a total contract compensation of $127,503 over the life of the 3-year agreement to the Safe Kids Coalition. This is included in the 2023 budget and becomes maintenance level for 24 and 25. With that, we are requesting that you waive the competitive bidding requirement and move to authorize the Emergency Services Director to execute the 2023 through 2025 service agreement for a total compensation of $125,503 and any amendments that do not exceed 10% with the Child Care Action Council. Thank you.
Are there any questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Menzer?
No questions. If folks, more extended discussion on this was last Tuesday morning at 9 meeting.
Okay, if there are no questions, I'll go ahead and ask for a motion.
I move to waive the competitive bidding requirement and move to authorize the Emergency Services Director to execute the 2023 to 2025 services agreement for a total compensation of $127,503 and any amendments that do not exceed 10% with the Child Care Action Council.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll ask for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on, thank you, Ben. Moving on to Public Works, item 6A, resolution appointing acting county road engineer. And Karen Weiss, our Public Works Assistant Director, will present this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. As you said, Karen Weiss, Assistant Director of Public Works. I'm here to present a resolution appointing an acting Thurston County road engineer. The laws of the state of Washington make detailed provisions in RCW Chapter 36.80 for the employment of a county road engineer in each county. This position carries many statutorily designated responsibilities, and as a result, whenever a vacancy occurs in the position, the WAC requires the county legislative authority either fill the position immediately or by resolution designate an acting county engineer for a period not to exceed 6 months. Our current Thurston County road engineer, Scott Lindblom, has submitted his resignation with his last day of availability on March 16th of 2023. Public Works is recommending the Board of County Commissioners designate by resolution Thurston County Traffic Engineer Matt Unzelman as the acting county road engineer effective March 17th, 2023, in alignment with statutory requirements. Mr. Unzelman is a registered and licensed professional civil engineer in the state of Washington, experienced in highway and road engineering and construction, and is qualified for this position. Contingent on the board making this appointment, Public Works staff will forward the adopted appointing resolution to the County Road Administration Board in alignment with the applicable WAC. I'd also like to take the opportunity to express appreciation and thanks to our current County Road Engineer, Scott Lindblom, for his 24-plus years of service to our community. Public Works and me personally have relied on his insight, guidance, and steady hand of leadership throughout the years. I'd like to acknowledge his many contributions to Thurston County.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Commissioner Edwards.
I don't have any questions about Matt's appointment, but I do want to also thank Scott for all the work he's put into making Thurston County a better place to live and a safer place to drive. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Menzer.
No, I'd just like to thank Scott. I really appreciated his presentations to the board. Very even-handed, advice he always gives us. In the course of dealing with this, we learned that the county engineer is also the county road engineer. And because of that, I think we all feel like we're in good hands with Matt. He's kind of our guru on the road issues anyway, so makes sense for him to help us deal with the loss as we go forward.
Yes, wishing Scott really all the best in his next chapter, and just a big thank you to him and really the service that he's provided, really the community. And I've worked with Matt on several of my committee assignments. I get all the transportation ones, so, and it's been a pleasure working with Matt, and I know he will do a great job. So with that, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the resolution appointing Matt Unzelman to serve as acting Thurston County Road Engineer for a period not to exceed 6 months.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer, Commissioner Mejia,
Aye. Moving on, thank you, Karen. Moving on to item 6B, right-of-way vacation in the plat of Boston Harbor. And Craig Sisson is here, the Real Estate Services Manager.
Thank you, Commissioners. Craig Sisson, Real Estate Services Manager for Public Works. On May 25th, 2021, a virtual public hearing was held on the vacation of a 20-foot segment of right-of-way on the 76th Way Northeast in Olympia. This is unopened right-of-way dedicated to Thurston County by the plat of Boston Harbor, recorded under Auditor's File Number 38315 on October 24, 1907. The hearing examiner considered the mandated criteria and determined that 1, the road was never opened or used for public travel. 2, it is not necessary to maintain the full width of right-of-way for public use as the adjacent properties have access from surrounding roads. And 3, the public will benefit by this vacation as the county will be relieved of liability for the area. The county has received compensation in the amount of $10,056. The Board of County Commissioners adopted the hearings examiner recommendation for approval by resolution number 16065, subset to compensation consistent with Thurston County Code 1336030. This condition has been met. This road vacation is in alignment with the county's strategic plan and initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Any questions, Commissioner Mentzer? Okay, if there's no questions, I will hear a motion.
Move to approve a resolution vacating right-of-way in the plat of Boston Harbor as outlined in the resolution.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer,
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Moving on to our standing items. Item 7A, Commissioners will report on board work sessions and assigned committee meetings, providing updates on actions taken as well as upcoming issues. Commissioner Edwards. Let's start with you, sir.
The Joint Animal Services are doing their best to find veterinary service. And I know they're trying to recruit, so if you know of a veterinarian that wants to do some work at the Animal Services, send his name our way. I did attend the Washington County's Insurance Fund Board of Trustees meeting in Chelan, and I can tell you we went over a lot of numbers. And a lot of what we talked about had to do with overall health issues involving those that we're insuring throughout the state. So that's going to be kind of a focus that if we have better and healthier employees, we have less claims. So let that go at that. And that's about it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Mentzer.
Another busy week. In addition to my lot meeting, Sentencing Guidelines Commission, which are assigned committees I have, I also attended the Leadership Thurston County Community Leaders Dinner, the Thurston County Chamber lunch regarding the healthcare presentations by Multicare and Providence. Had a meeting on behalf of the board with the Department of Natural Resources regarding Summit Lake. attended Innovative Justice meeting this morning, the House Washington meeting yesterday, the Nisqually presentation on their new substance use facility, substance use disorder treatment clinic that will be on Pacific Avenue at some point. Looks really interesting. The 140th anniversary of the Women's Club in downtown Olympia on Friday, and took a tour with Capital Land Trust of some lands that they have for an Inspiring Kids Preserve project, education project that they're working to put together.
Thank you. I attended the Transportation Policy Board meeting. I guess the only update that I'll give on that one is there was discussion in regards to the City of Olympia making a request to move a project, which was the Log Cabin Road Extension Project, off our 5-year projected list. And what was decided at the Transportation Policy Board was to adopt the staff suggestion, which was to keep the project on. There is a study that's going to be done anyway, kind of on a traffic study on where we're going to be in these next coming years. And that will really let us know if that expansion is necessary or not. So the City of Olympia was in full agreement with that proposal. And Councilmember Madrone said she had spoken with the council the night before and they were in agreement with it. So it was approved. But that was the big thing where there had been public comment in regards to that extension, and I know that there was a lot of public input into it. With Orca, nothing really to report. We're just getting done with the performance review for their executive director and getting a lot of administrative things done. We had the Regional Housing Council meeting and nothing major to report either on that one. I attended the Thurston County Chamber as well. I attended the League of Women Voters, a unique approach to government relations between tribes. So they had the representatives from the governor's office as well as some of our local tribes. And they provided a historical context on how that relationship has evolved over the years. And so it was really good informational session. I attended the Women's Club of Olympia, their 140th anniversary. I also had a meeting with Senator Claire Wilson where we discussed the issue that happened down in Tenino and gave her our perspective from our side, and our Criminal Justice Program Manager, Leah Landon, attended that meeting with me. And after we attended the Interbranch Advisory Committee, where the courts gave us a rundown on the generalities of their legislation that's going through and what to expect. One of the things that was brought up was the prosecuting attorneys putting a cap on their caseload. That was a big subject that we discussed, and it was really interesting to kind of hear that because it was one of the things I wasn't really aware about, and so it was something that I know that the Office of Public Defense was really advocating for at that meeting. I also attended the grand opening of the World Relief for Western Washington, and it was really nice. They're an office that works specifically with refugees that are coming to Washington State. And I also attended the Nisqually presentation along with the board. That is all I have to report. So moving on to item 7B, the county manager will review the Board of County Commissioners schedule for the week of March 14th, 2023.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me walk you through your combined schedule for the upcoming week, where at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. Starting this afternoon at 4:30, you have your regular Board of Health meeting. On Wednesday, March 15, 9 in the morning, you have a briefing related to the Healthy Lakes Program. Following at 10 in the morning, March 15, a briefing related to the community-driven review of agricultural policies. That's the docket number CPA 16. At noon, you have a follow-up again with the same docket item, CPA 16. And then 2 in the afternoon tomorrow, March 15, you have a briefing related to infrastructure for electric vehicles charging stations. Thursday, March 16th, 1 in the afternoon, you have, the PHO meeting has been canceled, as well as the Board of County Commissioners check-in meeting has been canceled for that day. So nothing on your combined schedule. Friday, March 17th, you have your regular steady meeting, that is the South Thurston Economic Development Initiative at 8 in the morning. And at 12:30 in the afternoon on March 17, you have the Jail Resources Team meeting here in this room. Next week, Monday, March 20th, at noon, you have a joint meeting with the Chehalis Tribal Council, and that is going to be located at 19770 Sergeant Road in Rochester. That will be in the Talking Cedars restaurants they have in that location. Monday, March 20th, 3 in the afternoon, you have a briefing related to the Uniform Guardianship Act funding. And then at 4 in the afternoon, you have the standing meeting on the House Washington conversation. Tuesday, March 21st, 9 in the morning, you have your regular agenda setting in this room. In the afternoon at 2 p.m., you have a regular board meeting. At 3:30 in the afternoon, you have a public hearing related to the home ARPA allocation plan related to the Housing and Urban Development Annual Action Plan. And at 4 in the afternoon, March 21st, you have your first and I believe only meeting for the Transportation Benefit District meeting. That's all I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, with that, we've reached the end of our agenda. It is 2:29. We are going to adjourn, and we will be back at 4:30 for Board of Health. Thank you.